Good evening, guys. It's Tuesday. And what does that mean? It's time for Two Lines to Go live. Hopefully, everyone is having a happy new year. I know we're only 2 days in, so it's a little too early to tell. Too early to call to see what 2024 is going to be about. But I do know one thing, that we will talk about slot cars. So hopefully everyone's having a good time. I did not check the chat. I kind of posted late, so you guys haven't had a whole lot of time to talk. But let's see who all's in there. We got Curvy in the house, Chris Freder in the house, Daniel, welcome. Does Cincy Slots rent controllers for those that don't have an analog controller but want to drop in a race? Daniel, whoa, that took over the entire screen. Daniel, there will always be controllers to borrow. No renting. Just show up and we will make sure that you have a controller to jump on. So a handful of us always have extra controllers. Bruce has a handful of extra controllers. We would love for you to show up. Dave Slot Happy New Year. 2024 is 2 days old, and I've already ordered a Revo slot from Pendle. Dave, we're going to have an intervention. We should probably call John Albright. He wouldn't be a good one for an intervention with Revo slots. Call Dusty, my brother. Wait. No, that wouldn't work either. I'm afraid there's no one to help you with your Revo slot problem. Oh, that's great. Yeah, Kirby. Hopefully, Daniel, I took care of that question. Hey, Wild Man, John Tucci, Ragtop, Pat, Mike, check one. Can you guys hear me? Everything good? I guess I should make sure that the audio is all right. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Yeah, we're good. Since I'm not talking to anybody, I don't have to have the headphones on. So yes, there is definitely a problem for Dave, and you're in good company because Eric Tucker, welcome. Did I say John Tucci? John, welcome. Hey, Slot Journal. Enjoy following your track painting project, Slot Journal. The layout is looking great. Mr. Albright is in the house. There you guys are. Didn't get notifications till just now. Sorry about that. I kind of sent the thing out. I set it up late. It's been a busy day, back to work. Shout out to Greg. Greg is sent me an old Lionel transformer to power my lights. And I appreciate you, bro. I probably need to get your shirt size. I can send you a Two Lines t-shirt. Let's see. Hey, DeFingers. Thanks for the message today, man. I appreciate that. It means a lot. Dave Patterson. Dave, did you get your shirt? Hopefully it's arrived. I don't know, with the holiday mail, you just never know. So let me know. Make sure you got it. Happy first 2 lines of the new year. Yeah, man. I'm excited about being here. I would like to say I've got lots to talk about. Hey, John's from Michigan. Welcome, John's. Glad to have you. Hey, Gina. Happy New Year. Glad you're here. Hopefully getting some slot time in on the track. Hey, Rob. Hope everything's good in California. Hey, Dusty. Hey, Steve Sweeney. What's up? Ives, did you get your shirt? Hopefully you did. Thanks for the order. I really appreciate it. Let's see here. Who else? Hey, Jim Rose. Hey, Jim. Great pick on the slot car of the year for your channel. I know the slot car of the year is kind of a home racing world thing, and I thought it would be cool to do one, but I thought, I'm just going to leave it up to Harry and the home racing world guys. They kind of started that. So, but I appreciate your video. Those were all good choices. I own the Shadow, but I didn't own the other two. But I've been tuning on one of the others, the C5 Revo slot. That Corvette is nice. So my buddy John Mark's got one. So hey Scott, what's up, man? Hopefully you're doing well. But yeah, Jim, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Glad you're here. Hey William. Hey Patriot. Jimmy Page. Bashed my head apart. Uh-oh. Sorry, Jimmy. Hope you're okay. John Mark, welcome. Hey, you got 3 cars from Cincy Slot. That's good. Hopefully the shipping didn't kill you. Getting to Canada, man. You Canadian guys, you guys get drilled on shipping charges. Gosh, it's crazy. So, what else? Well, I've got some things to talk about. Well, gosh, I don't even know where to start. We don't need no stinking intermissions. I can one up that. Kirby says, I can one up that. Friends of mine just was at Great Traditions and dropped 3,000 just today. Ouch. $3,000. Man, they must have bought into a track system and cars and controllers and everything. All right. Thanks, Chris. I appreciate that. John, all right. I pre-ordered the 510 as well. What I bought makes the trifecta. Hey, Vin. Hey, Slot Car League of Champions. Happy New Year. Guys, hopefully everyone's doing great. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody. Hey, Steve. What's going on, man? Moondoggy's in the house. Ives, you didn't get it yet? Okay, it went out, gosh, almost 2 weeks ago. So, hopefully it's sitting in customs. That's crazy. You don't have it yet. Yeah, you should have that. Let me know if you don't get some kind of notification. I have the tracking information, so I can help you out. That's not too bad. It could have been worse. $10 per car. Yeah, Curvy, that's a great idea. That's a great motor. Jim Cunningham sent me one of those, and I put it in one of mine. And yeah, I can jump in and run with the 132nd cars, and it's fun. Rob, Happy New Year, everyone from British Columbia. Turned 54 on New Year's Day, but no slot cars for my birthday. The wife says I have too many. Do we need to talk to your wife, Rob? I mean, is there such a thing as having too many slot cars? Well, Rob, thanks, man. Happy 54. Steve Sweeney, Roast Coffee. Yeah, Roast was selling their coffee $10 a bag. That's a pretty good price. And John Albright he bought a bunch of bags, but he made a comment about $10 bag. Doesn't mean what it used to. I wouldn't know. I've not done any of that kind of stuff in my past. Rob, I also have too many slot cars, according to my wife. Burn Dog. Burn Dog, my wife doesn't even have any idea that I have slot cars, and she would say that I have too many slot cars. Intervention for Rob's wife. I agree, Jim. That's awesome. Thanks, guys. Hey, Colonel Taylor Photography. What's up? From Australia. I'm on holiday, so I can finally get to watch the stream live. Well, hey, thanks for tuning in, man. I really appreciate it. Yeah, and happy birthday, Rob. Happy birthday. So, guys, we're 9 minutes in, and I've already caught up with the chat. See, that's what happens when I post the chat late. So, a couple things. This month at Cincy Slots, we will be racing modified Trans Am. And this is my modified Trans Am. It's a Scalextric. I've talked about it before with the CG kit. My brother Dusty came over and got his 2 cars. He posted them on Facebook. He has a Camaro, which it runs fantastic. Gosh, that car is sweet. and it's smooth and quiet. And then he also has a Challenger, and I think it's a Skillectrics. Both of his cars are about 0.2 faster than mine. And I've tried lots of things. I discovered that I had a problem with the rear axle. This car was super, super noisy. And I fixed that, and it really quieted that car down. I'm still not super pleased. So on my track, 57 feet, 58 feet of track length, if you are under 5.5 seconds, you're a pretty quick car. Just for reference, NSR cars will run 5.2s all day long. Thunder slots, some NSRs, if you got your NSR tuned, will jump under 5 seconds. 4.99s, 4.98s. Those are no magnet, well-tuned cars. It's a short track with some technical. So you've got one place for speed, and the rest of it is really driving. It really is a fun layout, even though it's a little short. I'm running 5.4s. Dusty 5.4, 5.5s pretty consistently with this. Dusty is running like 5.1s and 5.2s with his. And then I have the Thunderslot Mustang, and the Thunderslot Mustang supposedly is going to be approved for modified Trans Am. Dusty says go to roastcoffee.com. The 2 lines code gets you discounted coffee. You can never go wrong with that, right? Focus, thanks. Can you all talk to Patriot? I'd be happy to. I'd be happy to talk to your wife. Let her know how important this is. Slot cars. I was going fast around a corner, flipped my car over the tire barrier, went into the lake in the center of the track, bashed my head all apart. Jimmy, it sounds like a tough day on the slot car track. Can the wives have a group session to come to terms with their hobby? I think that sounds like a plan. So I think if I add numbers to this, I can run this, and this is running 5.1s, 5 flat. Okay. I have some white water slide decal decals that I'm going to put on the Thunderslot. So I have a question. On this car, it's already been clear coated. Putting the decals on it shouldn't be a problem. My question is, so I also have printed off decals I repainted the Jake Dyke Special. Don't mind the little tires. I threw some super tires on the back so I can run it on my track. I need to re-decal this thing after I fix the paint. Do I need to clear coat it first before I put the decals on? Because remember, I'm a little scared to put clear coat on this since the clear coat ruined the paint the last time. So what is your recommendation? Water slide decals that I printed on a laser printer. I'm going to cut them out really close to that circle, and then I'm going to drop them on, and the Thunderslot Mustang will become number 19 Thunderslot Mustang. So those will be my cars if we are allowed. I really want to race this car because this car, I love it. It looks awesome. Looks awesome on the track. It's way smoother than it was, but it's still just it's not fast. Again, I'm not worried about winning, but I do want to be competitive, right? So anyway, there we have it. Let's see. Let's see here. What do we have? Question from Moondoggy. Is the Carrera Mustang any good, or does it need a lot of work? The Carrera Mustang? The GTY? Listen, I know people have gotten those things to run, but we've got 2 of those Mustang GTYs because we love the look of them, and they were awful. Now you can get tires for them. That's going to be a big help. If Moondoggy, if that's the one you're talking about. Would go self-adhesive decals on the Mustang. I do have decal paper to do self-adhesive. So you're saying no water slide on that. Okay. I can take that recommendation. I do have self-adhesive. That's what I put on the other car. But everybody was telling me that the water slide would look better. But, yeah, I can print those, and they're black and white, so I can print them here at home. But sounds good. You may as well clear coat it first, because once the decals are on, you'll need another clear coat to keep them on. Got it. Marty, if you have a piece of plastic, just paint it and hit it with a different clear coat to test it. Okay. So, yeah, I did. I painted a piece of I painted a spoon so I could test it. But, man, when I just barely hit that with clear coat the last time, the white just peeled up immediately. And so I'm a little nervous about it. But I cleaned and scrubbed, and that body was clean. And this paint job looks better. It went on way better. So I'm hoping that if you have a piece Carrera needs work. Marty, if you have a piece of plastic, just paint it. Got it. Tom Ross, what mods did you make to the modified Trans Am? Going back to the modified Trans Am, the only thing that's original to this car is the body. I think I have this Scalextrics. Wait, no, that's a Pioneer. Never mind. I'm building another car too. I'm building a Pioneer. Look at that. Look at that. How good. Man, that's a good looking car. So I'm building that, John Marks, with a 3D chassis. But what mods did I do, Tom? 3D chassis from CG Slots, a Slot Invasion guide, the CB design wheels that fit, which is only a particular size wheel that fits, and tires. These are Super Tire 1402s and then 1402Zs on the front. And I had to chop the interior so that the interior fit because of the motor pod and the motor. I've tried a bunch of different motors in it, and right now I've got a Slot-It. I think this is a 23K, and the car hooks up the best with this motor, but I'm still struggling a little bit with grip. And so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put new rear tires on it. These tires they've seen a lot of laps, and they've had stuff spilled on them, and it just, through the process of building this car, I don't know, just these tires just don't seem to grip. But that is what I've done to the car, aside from tuning things like sanding and smoothing and polishing and all of that. So, Tom, hopefully that helps you. Where do you get some nice F1 slots? Jimmy Page, those NSR 8689s. Those are great slot cars. I like that kind of ahead of the newer Formula One cars. I don't own any of those. That's the only F1 car that I have. I've got two scaly F1s down here that I need silicone tires for. But I've been running them with the rubber tires. But and they're high magnet cars, so they do okay. Jeff G, normal process for decals: one coat of clear that makes the decal easier to move around, and then do clear coat over everything. Thanks, Jeff. I'll give it a shot. Daryl has built some awesome Trans Am cars for this month. I will probably race one of his. Steve. Of course, Steve. Steve, you've become quite the tuner. I was hoping that we get to see one of your cars tuned for that, but I know not everybody likes the Trans Am cars, so it's an investment into that car. By the time you get the 3D chassis kit and the wheels and the tires and the axles and the running gear and everything that you need for it, it's a pretty expensive slot car. Yes, that one is the one I'm speaking about, the one that comes with aftermarket tires. Yeah, Moondog. Yeah, I've not had any luck with the GTYs, but the guys that have found tires for them say that it really wakes that car up. So, but yes, Steve, Daryl has a bunch of great. It's his favorite class. One, because he loves to build cars, but two, he really just loves that Trans Am class, so he really focuses on those cars. I'm always going for the win, though. Yes, you are. Kirby, did Santa hit everyone's slot car wish list? Well, my brother hit my wish list. My brother picked up. I didn't have a GT car. And the last time we were at Butch's, I ran one of Butch's cars, and it ran great. And Dusty wanted to make sure that didn't happen again, so he bought me my own GT car. But yeah, this is a freaking awesome car, and I'm getting it tuned up. It's running 5 flat. I haven't been able to break 5 seconds, but it's running really well on the track. So modified Trans Am, it's a lot of fun. The cars are pretty competitive, but they're not super fast. But until we threw the Thunderslot Mustang into the mix, it's really going to speed that class up. But I think some guys have been able, like Dusty, he's been able to find speed in the SCX. I think the SCX cars are a little better with the 3D printed chassis than the Scalies. But the 3D printed chassis for the Scaly Camaro, like the 60 or 70 Camaro that Dusty has, is a great chassis. It's quiet, smooth. You're going to race it. It doesn't need to be pretty. This is true. Thank you for the reminder. Hey, Richie. Happy New Year. Whitman FT, GTY Mustangs are a handful, but they look great. I want that car to be a great car, but man alive. I like running Carrera 124 cars out of the box. Carrera 124 cars, we run with no magnets. That's really the only thing you can do to them is run them in, pull the magnet out, add silicone tires at Cincy slots. It's fun. It's a fun class. Yeah, Burn Dog, that's right. They do look great. The stock tires do pretty good. If you do tire treatment, but if you can upgrade the tires, you are far ahead. Pioneer and Scalextric Mustangs get fast a lot easier. The only problem with the Scaly Mustang is it's super narrow. But the Pioneer, I'm looking forward to getting that thing done. Yeah, he is. His car, Steve, his cars are quick. I have to tell you, his cars are faster than Daryl's cars were on this track. Daryl's cars were all 5.4, 5.5 cars. But I know that he's been wrenching on them, so I'm sure that he's got them going well. Does Cincy slot rent controllers? Want to drop in and race sometime? My kid has tournaments in Cincy, and that's close enough for me. Daniel, they have loaner controllers. So if you get there, somebody will loan you their controller. If you're just going to run like during the day while the shop's open, he's got a handful of controllers. You can grab one and he'll lend you. So buy a car, put it on the track, go have fun. So yeah, Marty, I was watching the second video about your controller. What was the ohm setting about? Okay. We'll shift gears from Trans Am and answer Gary's question because it's a good question. I have a DeFalco DD302. The DeFalco controllers have what is called the ohm network that's changeable, right? And that's the resistance for the sensitivity of the controller. And they come with a 290 ohm network. And that's the standard for 1/32 scale. And so a lot of guys have a couple of networks, maybe one that's a little lower, maybe one that's a little slower, that's a higher ohm rating, so it gets a little more resistance. But the Cloverleaf guys were sharing, they were so smooth around the track at the 6-hour endurance race. And I was like, how are they so smooth? Like I can just if I had my sensitivity turned all the way up. I was at the slowest setting, and I could still make mistakes by pulling the trigger just a touch too fast. And I could just ease into it, and I could come out of the slot. And I felt like they were just so smooth. And so Mike and Kurt were talking about how they've been experimenting with different ohm ratings and going with a higher ohm rating. So they were testing up in the 300s, the 400s, and they landed on the 522 ohm. I think I said it was 520, but it's actually 522 network. And it's a custom network that Jim started building for them because they really liked what that controller was doing for them. And basically, it slows the controller down a little bit, and it's noticeable, but man, does it really help you keep the car, it helps you drive smooth. And I noticed that as I get older, my reaction is not quite what it should be or what it used to be. And slowing that controller down just enough to really smooth things out, I saw a big difference. It really helped. And I really think it'll make a big impact on the wood track, because I tend to feel the car on a plastic track a little better because that's what I race on all the time. But when I get to the wood track, I feel a little disconnected from the car. And so by making that change to the controller, so higher ohm, Gary, really just, it basically reestablishes your sensitivity range, and it allows you to fine tune your sensitivity, but it does slow the controller down. I was doing some testing in the video, and I actually ran a faster lap with the 290 network with the 2-finger. So not only did I change the network, but I also changed my trigger from a 1-finger to 2-finger, and I'm loving the 2-finger trigger. I'm already adapting to it. It feels very comfortable in my hand. I noticed that my fingers don't go numb because I don't squeeze the trigger as hard as I was before with the single. So I'm really liking that. So Vin asked, are they silicone tires? On the GTY, you can get Quick Slicks makes silicones for those. Super Tire does too, I believe. So Gary, I hope that answered your question about the ohm rating. That's what that's all about. Yeah, Chris, don't forget about the Polycar for Classic Formula One. We're going to be racing those in February at Cincy Slots. So it's going to be 3 choices. You can race Polycar Classic F1. You can race Fly Classic cars. And I think those two will probably race together. Although I think the Polycar will kill the Fly cars. That's not really the same kind of car. And then the NSR GT cars. So Dusty doesn't want to say how much he has in his cars. Jimmy, there's always the P34 6-wheel Tyrrell. There you go. Marty, a couple dabs of STP worked well into quality rubber tires. Yeah, tire treatment really helped the Carrera tires. But see, we don't run rubber; we run silicone on my track, so that was the problem for us. Hey, Bill Royal, good to have you. A mod you can do on the GTY Mustang besides silicone tires: remove the cockpit and then black out the windows. That'll drop some weight out of that car, probably. The C7 Jaguar. Okay, I'm behind. Hey, Asher. Good evening. That's right, Dusty. Don't keep track. Nothing good comes of that. I have the Corvette C8. Sent it right back. Wouldn't pass on the Scale Auto 90, 97 F1 cars either. Yeah, I don't own one of those, but I've heard really good things about the Scale Auto. I have 2 Scale Auto cars now. Is that right? I have this one, which you guys will be happy, proud. I put the glass in, and I finished putting it together, and I kept the wing white. This car is crazy fast. It's almost too fast for this track, for this layout. It's a quick car. So, what else do we have? Yeah, the GTY is top heavy. I agree. Marty, how long did you wait to put clear coat over your paint when you had the issue? Jeff, about 2 months. That's why it shocked me. George and I were talking about it, and he thinks that the paint on the top of the car, that I didn't prep the surface well enough. Even though I did clean it with like rubbing alcohol, and I thought I had it pretty clean. Something must have happened when that clear coat hit it, and I just missed it across the top. It just orange peeled like really bad, like wrinkled up, and the paint came off of the plastic. This time, the paint looks so much better. I may be brave enough to hit it with clear coat. I use the same brand clear coat of the paint. It's the Ultra Cover, the 2X from Rust-Oleum. They had the color that I wanted, so I went with their primer, their paint, and their clear coat out of the same brand, thinking that it should work well together. What is the best height for the table to put a track on? I think I'm at 32 inches. It's fairly comfortable. You can reach across the table fairly easy. It's not too low, so your back doesn't hurt. So that's where my table height is. Seems to work really well. The STP. Yeah, I was using Mystery, the Marvel Mystery Oil. I used to run with Cincy Slot guys in 124 digital, but my Porsche lost its bumper from the bump drafting. Greg, this is true, man. The 124 class digital at Cincy Slots gets a little crazy. Greg, Marty, you run 124 no mag at Cincy Slots? Yes. Yeah, we do. We ran DTM last year, and I think we're running GT next month, 124. I think. I have to check that. Yeah, between 30 and 36. Yeah, mine's at 32 as well, DeFingers. Yep, everything at Cincy Slots is no magnets. Heavy body interior. I'm working with removing interiors and replacing them with Lexan. The new silicone super tires really help it. Yeah, Pat, I would say so. I would think that it would. Let's see. People say Carrera is a fun racing Carrera. Yeah, Moondoggy, it's right. Racing in class is always good. I have a bunch of cars, just not a dedicated analog controller. Too many cars to admit. Yeah, Daniel, just show up. He'll have a controller for you. Not a problem. Caveman just ordered the Frankenslot FS Speedflow wireless. Caveman, yeah, let me know how that works. I've got one, and we love it. when we run digital wireless. So your fingers don't go numb anymore. Great. You're ready for 48-minute heats. Greg, you've seen me drive, man. You know that there's no way I'm ready for 48-minute heats. But I will say, Dusty and I raced for like an hour, just messing around, and I didn't have any issues with my fingers. So that's always a good thing. Yeah, I wouldn't go that far. I found table height also depends on the width of the table and makes it easier to bend over to get a deslotted car in the middle. Yeah, that's where that 32 really kind of seems like it's in the right spot. Question: narrow tires versus fat tires for the larger scales. Ooh, I don't have an answer for that. I apologize. I know usually people are saying fat tires, a larger traction patch, but I know that there's been some of the West Coast guys have tried some different sized width tires, I know, and having some good luck. So I don't know. Somebody else might have to jump on that question. Sorry, Slot Car League of Champions. The lower the ohms, the more controller becomes an on and off switch. Yep. That's a perfect way to describe it. You have to sand every tiny bit to make sure your clear doesn't lift the previous paint. If you can see any gloss, it will lift. So Mad P, it's because I didn't wet sand my car, you think? Now you're making me all nervous. I guess this is a dirt car, right? It's a dirt car. Maybe I just let it roll the way it is, because now you got me nervous about putting clear coat on it. The paint looks great right now. I don't want to ruin it again for the second time. You talk about quiet and smooth. That brass car is super quiet and smooth. I love it. It's just not super fast with that 18K at 12 volts. I should bump it up to 14 and probably be a little happier. Gina's table is 29 inches. Narrow versus fat depends on the track surface more than anything. Yeah, Jim, that's interesting. So are you guys still running as wide as you can go on wood track? In HO scale, narrow tires are popular. I'm at 36 inches on my track, and it's a bit high, going to be changing to 32 or 34 to make it easier to marshal. Pat, I would go 32. It's pretty comfortable to reach, and when you're standing at it, it still feels like it's the right height. Cloverleaf has been going narrower for the rear tires. I believe they are around 8 millimeter wide for their 24-hour cars. Yeah, it was. I couldn't remember if it was the West Coast guys, Greg, or if it was Cloverleaf, but it seems to be working for them. Don't need to wet sand, just have to sand it really good with just like 400 grit, 600 grit, 800 grit, 1,000 grit. But I don't want to introduce a bunch of scratches, right? So, yeah, I'm not a. See, this is why I've been scared to jump into scratch building. I've never been good at finishing models. So, but yeah, we'll see. And use a tack cloth when you're done. Yeah. Hey, DNA, Tahi, how are you? Happy New Year. So, what were we talking about? So we were talking about Trans Am, then we talked about the controllers. I've been working on, and then we talked about putting stickers on my Mustang. We talked about Jim Rose's Car of the Year, and it looks like Home Racing World's Car of the Year is the Shadow from MR Slot Car. Congratulations to Ernie and Massetti Racing for producing the MR slot car. What a wonderful car. I was lapping it last night and probably was running 5s and 5.1s with it. So it's a quick car on the track. It handles great, stays in the slot. That front slot guide design is really, really, really good. So, so I had been working on a project all last week, and I want to show you guys what's going on. So I'm going to grab the camera. Let's see here. And we're going to go to the track. So I need to do a couple things. So let's clear this. Let's go to, is it track cam? Nope, not track cam. Wrong camera. Race live cam. No, wrong camera. Phone cam. Hey, I'll get there eventually. All right. And then I need to hit this. Hopefully you guys can still hear me and see me. So, view of the track. I've been working on some things. This is what I wanted to focus on. This is my new start-finish line. And if you look close, you can see down in here that I have put in photo eyes for the lanes. So now I'm doing lane counting and lap timing with Race Coordinator. Using an Arduino to keep track of it all. And I've got a call button working. So I didn't have a switch, so I kind of opened that up. But I've got a call button coming, and it works fantastic. So I guess I have to have a car to show you how it works. So can you guys let me know in the chat? Can you hear me okay? Yep, MP, road trip. That's right. We'll do a little tire cleaning, and we'll see. So there you go. Like, so I'm getting lap timing. There's nothing overhead. It's very clean. And I love it. It's working great. See, I just ran a 5.7, 5.9. Track's cold. Really cold down in the basement tonight. But I'm going to be doing a video on how to do this, and I'll show you what I put in this. So this is what the coupler looks like. So this is what's in. It's this little photo eye, and it's a slot photo eye. And so the guide goes through that. I basically, up underneath the track, I cut part of the bottom part of the rail out, and I glued that in each lane. And so as the guide passes between those two posts, it sends a signal to the Arduino, and the Arduino is processing that for Race Coordinator. And so I have analog hardware. I'm hoping Patrick might add that to Fast Slaps so that he has another type of hardware that can be used. So for not everybody has TrackMate, maybe he can figure out how to make the Arduino work. And this DIY project. And so I'm going to do a video of how I made that, just an instructional video, and I'm excited about that. It really simplified the lap timing. Super excited about not having to use the webcam anymore. It's really simple. Kind of haphazardly painted a start finish line at the end of the straight, but no timing errors. Like it is rock solid, except we discovered one thing. Let me see. Do I have a car down here? I do not have a car. So we discovered one thing, that there are a couple of brands of guides that do not block the photo eye. And what I mean by that is they're translucent. So the NSR guides, the white guides, will not trigger the lap. And to fix it, we took a Sharpie and marked on both sides of the guide, and it worked perfect. So I'm curious why that's happening. So that was the only problem we run into it. We had a little problem with Thunder Slots, that gray guide as well. And but I was able to take a Sharpie and color the guide, and no problems timing. But it does a nice job. It's really clean. I love the look from the track surface part. And then so a shout out to Thomas Seidner. So what is Thomas's last name? Seidner. Thomas is the one who sent me a message about a video that he put out installing that into his track. And then he helped me with the programming of the Arduino, because I've never done any programming with that, but it was really pretty simple. And what I found is the code for the Arduino is in Race Coordinator's install. So it's already on your computer. You just get the Arduino, upload the code to it, and plug it in and get the wiring done, and you're good to go. So it really, getting back to the Shadow, it's a great car. Yeah, no problem. Does anyone run with a pace car? Curvy, we don't run with a pace car, but I know like First Capital, their videos on YouTube, they usually run with a pace car, which is interesting. DK Moon, glad I didn't switch to the bedroom cam. That's right. Hey, MP, what's up, man? Good to have you. Hey, Lee, I'm glad you made it. Thanks for being here. I think the Shadow is one of the rare limited editions that will become highly sought after once everybody realizes how good they are and fast they are. Yeah, Caveman, they are really good. Yeah, I need to do some touch up on the start-finish line, Greg. But yes, I did a start-finish line. But lap timing is really clean with it. I am super impressed. It was very easy. 2X is a hot pain if you're going to clear. Do extremely light mist between 45 minutes between coats. 2X is a gloss finish, so if you just want to wet sand and start with 5K paper and work up to 15K. Well, thanks, Jeff. Except NSR guides, right, Dust? Yeah, it was crazy why the NSR guides, they would not interrupt the photo eye. Yep, there you go. Mainly slotting plus ones. Yeah, you miss laps with some white guides. Yeah, the Thunder Slot gray is one that you will as well. Just interesting how that works. And my guess is it reflects back the photo eye, so it doesn't see it as interrupted. But as soon as we put a stripe of Sharpie, black Sharpie on it, worked just fine. John's, thanks. So the video, it's probably not next week's video. It's probably the week after. I still have a couple things to do. I need to take the track back apart and get a video of it put together. But I'll release that. It is super easy. And here's the thing. I think I've got $38 in the whole thing. And I'm waiting for Thursday because Amazon sent me the wrong relay. On Thursday, I'll get the relay. And so by this weekend, it'll be controlling track power as well. So when you hit the call button, it will kill track power. So that's that's the end goal, for less than $40 on Amazon. And so that's the key. You guys know me. I like to save money however I can and help others do the same thing. If they don't want to, you want a turnkey system, spend $300 for, eventually I would love to have LapMaster. I love that software. And that's what all the big races are using. It's what Butch uses. It's what, I think they were using at, the NSR Nationals. It's what they were using at Electric Dreams. I'm noticing more and more places using LapMaster. I think it's a great software, but I'm telling you, if we can get that to work with FastLaps will give it a run for its money because visually it looks fantastic. And Patrick's just done a really good job with that software. So, yeah. Thanks, Greg. It's getting there. Yep. Will that work with digital? So, Curvy, here's the thing with digital. This is an analog counter, but you can get, if you get an Arduino, I can never pronounce that. Arduino. If you can get the Arduino with the Wi-Fi, you can program the Arduino to send signals to SmartRace. So you can use SmartRace on the digital side and then use SmartRace for the analog side. And it will use the same side. You won't have to use the analog timing system. It will just Wi-Fi send the code that SmartRace needs to signal on the digital. So you could run your analog races just like your digital races in SmartRace. And that's what he originally did. Thomas has a video out there. I'll go back and put the link in the description. But that's what he did. And then I was the one that said, "Ooh, I'd like for this to work with Race Coordinator because I can't get SmartRace to do round robin racing." Yeah, so like that's where it's going to be a game changer for us. So, yeah, very cool project. It's been a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm excited about it because we've been using, since we switched to analog and running digital and analog, we have been doing timing with a webcam, which works really, really good 98% of the time. But I noticed that when I would do a race night, it would struggle. We would miss laps. We'd have to go back and look and see, and it was kind of a headache. And so this seems to clean that up. So, yeah, Scott, another this is the no schematic. There's no schematic for this. None needed. It's that easy. So anyway, Race Coordinator went to track where I race, is working on those also to put the call button and the caution where it reduces the speed under caution but doesn't stop the cars. Yeah, Pat, that's that's cool that some of them do that where it really penalizes. With Race Coordinator now, you can say what the delay is. So if somebody hits the call button, the cars will continue for however many seconds you have it set up. So you could say for 2 seconds, cars continue. So you hit the call button, 1001, 1002, and then it shuts the power off. So you can control that with Race Coordinator now. Yeah, you're talking about wet sanding. No, I think Mad P, he was talking about wet sanding the paint before I clear coat it. Yep. Color it black with a Sharpie. Bingo. Hey, Bo. Happy New Year. Sorry, Pat. I struggle pronouncing that. Yeah, it just wears off. I was thinking, Dusty, that we could. John Albright said that just dye it with right black dye, so all of your white, just dye them black, and that would take care of it. I was winning that race until the marker wore off. That's funny. I painted one with just a stripe of Sharpie on both sides, and it lasted 40 or 50 laps before it stopped counting. So I think if you dyed it, you'd be just fine. Patrick, that's awesome. I didn't know if you were on tonight. I built over the weekend. I built the hardware, and it was so easy to build and inexpensive. And so, yeah, if that would be. The code for the Arduino is in the data folder in Race Coordinator. So if you've installed Race Coordinator to test it and look at it, if you go into the program, your C drive program, Race Coordinator data, there's an lap counter.ino file, and it has the programming for the Arduino. So you can see that. I don't think it's anything complicated, but I know that it's probably complicated for you. But I'm guessing that it's probably similar. It's probably doing something similar to what TrackMate's doing. I would say that it's pretty similar of how it's keeping track of laps. Again, I am no programmer, so but if you could take a peek at that would be awesome. And then I'd be testing the crap out of fast laps on the analog side, because we just race analog so much more than we do digital. But no, man, thanks. I appreciate that. That's awesome. You just answered my question. Okay, I'm behind in the chat. Sorry. There you go. Soak the guides in black RIT dye. That's easy enough. I make my own optical switches for the Arduino for Race Coordinator. I can read white flags and all flags. Rob, that's cool. How do you make them yourself? I would probably be interested in that, because it would probably be worth switching those out. Yeah, I mean, it really, Rob, I was wondering so Rob, I found Race Coordinator because that's what you were racing, or what you were using in your videos when you were filming the proxy races. And I'm like, I've not seen that software. I got to figure that out, because I just liked how it allowed you to run empty lanes for your proxy races. And I thought that was an easy setup where you could load all that in. So that's how I found Race Coordinator originally. It was through your videos. But I didn't notice that you had any overhead, like TrackMate style. So I was curious. So that's what you're using. So yeah, I'd be interested in how to make those. I'm not afraid to tackle a project like that, even when I don't know what I'm doing. But that would be great. Mad P correctly, really no need, but the protect decal you want to clear. Got it. Okay. DJ Patrick, hey Marty and the guys, I just got back to my black large 2 Lions shirt. Hey, I'm glad you got it. Wear it proudly. Yeah, do tell your secret. I used the RIT dye method for nylon RC wheels for many years. We did too. List of the new Carrera cars in 2024. Oh, was that released today? That's awesome. I'm curious to know what they're going to release this year. Can't wait for the new prototype almost coming out this year. I played with pull-up resistors to read all Played with pull-up resistors to read all flags and made little circuit boards for optical switches that go in the slot. That's awesome. I don't know that I'm going to do a call button at every driver's license, so because we usually race with very few, if no, marshals, right? So that's why controlling the track power is important. But yeah, that's the plan. And then I may end up getting the wireless track call button and plug it in too, because then you can have it anywhere. Let's see. Arduino. Thanks, Matt P. Arduino. There you go. Question. What was the tire clean setup you have there? Oh, it's just a piece of half track that I had cut. I split the lane, and then I just wired it to a 9-volt battery. And I eventually planned to wire it into a power supply. I can put it on my light power supply and run it off of that. So when my lights are on, then the cleaning station. I actually made a video. There's actually a YouTube video on how I made it. And basically I just soldered 2 pieces of wire to the rails, clipped them onto a 9-volt battery, and glued a little kitchen scrubby down, little piece of, what do you call that? Scotch-Brite. And I just spray it down with Windex, and you're good to go. Oh, nice. But yeah, Daniel, that's a cool little tire cleaning, easy, especially if you have some spare track laying around. Slot Car Daddy still taking down Christmas decorations. I did that on Saturday. I took down both trees and took care of that. Man, it's 9:02. What else did I want to talk about? Talked about the track timing. Talked about the paint. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Anybody get new slot cars for Christmas? We didn't really talk about that. I talked about mine that I got, which is a fantastic car. Hey, Pachi. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Años Nuevo Campeón. That's Happy New Year, right? Thanks for joining. Hola, amigo. Happy New Year, Steven. Just trash the NSR stock guides and install slot invasion guides. That will take care of several issues. Chris, that's usually one of my first go-tos is installing the slot invasion guides. They are so good on the Carrera track, and I've noticed more and more guys using them on wood tracks. How does Race Coordinator compare to Oxygen? I have not used Oxygen. I don't know anything about it, Lee. I apologize. A Race Coordinator is just really simple and easy to program, and it just works really well. My favorite app was Smart Race for all the digital stuff, but Patrick is pulling me away from Smart Race, and the digital side of Fast Laps, which is a new piece of software coming out, it's really, really good. It's so easy to move controllers around. Like just drag and drop the controller on who it needs to be on and go. And that's so convenient. That's just a great idea. Pat, you can't pronounce it either. But Lee, I don't know how it compares to Oxygen because I've not messed with Oxygen. I don't have anything Oxygen. So Marty, if you wet sand, then buff, no need for clear. Okay. Yeah, it will just polish right up. Race cars, not chips. Chris, you don't like stock NSR guides. I'm not a big fan of stock NSR guides on Carrera Track. Now their wood guide is really good. I do like it. We were testing it this past weekend, and it was great on the track until it wouldn't register a lap. I really should make a video. Yes, you should. That would be great, Rob. I would enjoy that. I think those DIY, the how-to stuff, anytime you can help others, especially when the timing piece of things, especially if you got an old analog track, a lot of people, the only option they had was TrackMate, and it works great. But my buddy John Mark likes to hit the bridge that it's on at Cincy Slots. So I think that's a great idea, Rob. Let us know if you do that. Thanks, John Mark. You may take that back after I made fun of you. Marty, do you prefer analog over digital? I've never had digital before, so I don't know the comparison. Slot Car Daddy. I would say that I probably do prefer analog over digital now. When we first started out, we were digital all in. But back then we'd never raced anything but magnets. So racing at the club has pulled us down the analog route. And it seems like every time we're on the track here, we're really practicing for analog at Cincy Slots. So, we'll go in spurts, but this last spurt has been a while. We've not raced digital on this track. We did it Thanksgiving and did it Christmas. But I pulled my kids into analog racing, no magnet racing at Christmas, and they loved it. So they may not go back to to digital either. But it's not that I wouldn't go back to digital. We race digital at Cincy Slots, so we've got to keep our digital game up. But I would say, Slot Car Daddy, I'm leaning really hard towards analog. I'm just really enjoying the tuning aspect of analog cars. That's what I've really just fallen in love with, that side of the hobby. But it's not that I do like digital. I think it's great. I think it's a great place for people to start, because it's exciting. There's a lot that goes on. The announcers, the software like Smart Race and Fast Laps really add to the atmosphere of digital. And I think that for a bunch of people who are new to the hobby, it couldn't get any more fun than digital. Pit stops, having to refuel your car. That's all brilliant, right? Spy cam that you could put on a car for track footage. I think there's some cheap cameras that work pretty well off of Amazon. I've wanted to build a camera car, but honestly, that's the part of the YouTube stuff that I'm not great at, is getting track footage. Raul is amazing. It does an amazing job. Massimo is amazing at that. Those guys have great track footage. My track, I'm in the basement and it's just not lit that great. It's real bright in two places, and then kind of it's not very evenly lit, and it just doesn't do well on camera most of the time. So, but it would be fun to have an in-camera car. Next teaser, Porsche 917 Spa from 1970. Nice. The 12 Cars of Christmas. Yeah, that's good. Revo slot Porsche 911 Repsol. Oh, that's a good choice. I have that. Ives, that's a great car. I really like it. Patrick got 3 Pioneer Legends, very cool cars, but unfortunately I have no track to run them on yet. Track is in early stage of construction. Patrick, what type of track are you building? Are you building a wood track? Or are you building plastic. Correct me, oxygen used at all in the United States? Dave, there's not a lot of oxygen here in the States. But I think that'll change once Polycar releases their lane changers for their track. And when they finally come out, I think that you'll see people at least give oxygen a try. Got the Darrell Waltrip Monte Carlo Scaly car. Nice. That's a good-looking car. You think you'll pick up any downforce with the metal rails? I've got the slotted Lola B1280. Nice. Porsche 992 RSR in 4 different 132nd liveries. Then a 991 in 124. Nice. The Orca is a popular car. That's a good looking LMP car. Hey Tad, welcome. Hope you're doing well. I call the Coral Snake. Using TrackMate and Race Coordinator, is there a way to wire a switch so as someone deslots, the track power can be cut in half and other cars continue to race? I think that's what they were referring to earlier, that the guy from Race Coordinator is working on that. You can cut all of the power, or you can delay when the power shuts off in the app. But I don't know. I don't know about TrackMate. I've never messed with TrackMate. I know that TrackMate, you can do a delay to when the track power shuts off, and you can do the same thing in Race Coordinator. But to run, like a half power until the car is back in the slot. Sorry, yawn. I don't think either of those two softwares do that, Vin. But I think Race Coordinator was working on it. I have a new release coming out in the next few days for analog racing that allows you to easily run empty lanes. You don't have to create a ghost cars to fill in the empty lanes. Nice. Yeah, Patrick, that'll come in handy. Even though I just create a car called Empty and put them in the race. And that's what I ended up doing when we raced with my kids. I only had 3 controllers and 4 lanes. And so I threw in a couple extra racers so that we would only have 3 in at any given time. Yeah, choosing the lanes is done the same way you choose controllers for digital. It's pretty cool. That is very, very cool. And that's coming in the next update. Ooh, I can't wait. Man. Now I really want you to work on the Arduino part. You like stock car slots? Yeah, they're cool. The 07, your Orca 07 is an angle winder. Yes, Santa was very nice to my wife and myself with a few NSR and Carrera slot cars. That's awesome, Chris. Have they named the bridge at Cincy Slots after John Mark yet? John Mark had a tough race last week, and he hit it twice, knocked it over. It's all right. We've all done it. What happens is there's a little turn coming out underneath the bridge before you go through the timing. And if you get on that too hard, that little hitch will pop you out of the slot. And if you're on the inside lane, you'll jump in the outside lane and break out for the other guy. And if you don't, then you usually hit the TrackMate timing bridge. So that's funny. So the track you race at, you have a corner named after you, or rather a barrier around the corner. So Pat, back on this corner on the old layout, I had our buddy Rob Snyder came over one day and raced with us, and he destroyed that corner. And so I painted it and I named it the Rob Snyder Memorial corner. And he got mad at me when he found out, when I told him I named a corner after him because he just destroyed the barrier. So it happens, Pat. Dave, I'm glad you got the shirt. Thanks. Enjoy it. Santa brought me for Christine, when possible, and their cool color livery. That's cool. Tuning can be almost as much fun as driving. John, I would agree with that. There's nothing more satisfying than taking a car that doesn't run great and making it run and be competitive. Yep. Listen, with John Albright and Bud Slots in the chat, you've got two master tuners, guys. These guys know. I've driven both cars from both of them, and they know how to tune a car. Pat, it will be the John Mark Hall Memorial Light Bridge. I'm going to make up a sign. I'll print it off. Take a crap handling car and turn it into a driver's prize. Yes, I'd agree. Patrick's building a career digital. Nice. You'll enjoy it, Patrick. And then when you're ready, you find a tech slot box, and then you can run analog too, Patrick. Because you're going to need to be able to test your software on both. Let's see here. Question. I heard you can run more cars on oxygen. Yes, you can run up to 20 cars, I believe, on the oxygen system if you've got enough power. So I don't know exactly how that works, but if you've got the power, you can run up to 20 cars. Let's see. What else? John Albright nods in agreement about tuning. Let's see, John, I agree, but tuning the same basic car over and over half a dozen times gets old. Remember, I have to do a lot of silicone truing. That's your full-time job. Steve, that is truing silicones. Slow. Oreca. Okay, thanks, Steven. Orca. They like to eat seals. A 120 Bo got a 124 Jägermeister livery. Oh, that's what's coming from. Bo is leaking all the Carrera cars to us in the chat. I have to run only quick slicks. Once you get the tuning down with the different brands, it's pretty much becomes automatic. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the camera cars. Yeah, Greg, it creates some cool footage though. But yeah, I think it would. You got to take the body off. You pretty much destroy a car to put the camera in it. Let's see. You only need to carry them all. Let's see, what else do we have? Your mom? Okay. Thanks, 360 No Scope. Jason Coburn, you've got the power. Are you up and running with your track? We all run better with more oxygen. Yeah, DK Moon, I'd agree. So I think for like the oxygen system, I think it was built for that Le Mans, the 24-hour race that they do in the UK, where they set up in this gigantic gym with this great big track that's, a Le Mans layout. So I think that they run 20 teams in that 24-hour race. That's really probably the only track that's built that can handle 20 cars at a time. Yeah. 4 cars on my layout right here are plenty. So. Yep. Gina agrees. Now we know why your beard is so long. True Silco tires. That's right. Vin, our race coordinator tracks out here. I set up a separate track call button at each driver station. We have a 5-second penalty for the driver coming off. Only in that lane. Others keep racing. There you go. Let's see. Oh, right. You're right about tuning. Yeah, it's exciting to get a car running really well. They use it throughout Europe in the Discus series. Yeah. But those are pretty massive tracks, Lee, right? To be able to put that many cars out there on the track at once, it's got to be a pretty good size. Vinny bought Vinny a Revo slot blackjack player Porsche 911 because Santa couldn't be trusted to buy one. That's right. Then sometimes you have to help Santa Claus out. It's just the way it is. Sometimes you got to help Santa out. I need to start on my tires. Gina, did you get any cars for Christmas? Did Santa Claus get you anything? Jason, yes, sir, but I think the control unit is doing on me. Had a car braid cross the rail, and by the time I found it, with smoke coming out of it. It's still working, just acting funny. Ugh. Yeah, we had that problem with a braid that got caught in a lane changer, and it about roasted my Carrera chips in my tech slot box. That's right, Steve. You wound up in the tire truer. Lee, those are big tracks. Yeah, that's what I thought. Most excited to see new cars versus just new liveries. Yeah, Slot Journal. I think that some new cars is going to be fun. I don't mind new liveries. I think it's great for them to be able to take advantage of a mold that they spent $80,000 to make, right? So you'd love for them to get their money back out of that mold. But it is exciting to see new cars that they're investing in the hobby. I think that's a good sign. If we stop seeing new cars, I would probably begin to worry a little bit that the hobby is struggling. But I don't think the hobby's struggling right now. I think that that there's a lot of excitement around it. So, well, did we cover everything that we wanted to cover tonight? Gosh, I think so. I don't know. What am I missing? A Lola T70, number 32 and 124 scale. Another Lola T70. That's cool. I think those are pretty popular 124 cars for Carrera. I would love to see the new 2024 Mustang GT3. Yeah, that would be a great car to see. Yeah, that's right, Slot Car Daddy. Lee is still getting stuff for Christmas, switching from Ninko to Polycar and getting a DeFalco controller. Lee, I just did a video about the DeFalco controller. You asked some questions about it. I don't think you'll have any problems with traction control being illegal. Most of the high-end controllers have traction control. I think you'll appreciate it if you spend the $60 to get it. It's a nice feature, and that 302 is a great analog controller. If you've got a little more money, the brake system on the 304 is really nice, and is kind of an advantage when it comes to braking. That some of the guys who have it feel like it is. So, but I think you will not be disappointed. I don't think my brother is. He picked up the 302, and his driving, his times are off the charts each week. I see him improve more and more. Gina got several used cars. That's a good way to build your collection. Hopefully got some good ones, or at least you can get them tuned up and make them good ones, right? NorCal slot car scene and vintage motorsports, yes, and it looks great. Oh, I missed the question. Mustang GT3 has been announced by Racer Sideways. Yes. The fact that it's going to be a Sideways car, that makes me very happy. I really like the Sideways Group 5 stuff. It's one of my favorite classes now. I love driving those cars. They're fun to tune. They're very tunable. And when you get them right, man, they hook up and go. That's cool. Thanks, Jim. Appreciate that bit of news. Hello from Brazil. I'm doing my research trying to get into the hobby, and your channel is helping a lot. Thanks, man. See, that's great to hear. If you have any questions, this is a great place to ask. Lots of people here know a lot more than I do, but that's what makes the Tuesday nights so much fun. Is we don't feel like we get a lot accomplished, but I think we get a lot of questions answered and a lot of information shared, and people come away feeling like they learned something. So I've got the video for the timer that'll be coming out. If anybody has any questions about it and you want to know, Thomas Seidner, Sidner, Sidener, Sidener. If you look him up, he's got a bunch of wargaming videos, but his last two videos have been slot car oriented, and it's how he dismantled the track piece to install the eyes in the track. And then the other one is setting up the Arduino. And he sent me an email and said, hey, I posted these videos. You might be interested. And he was definitely interested. It was something I was trying to figure out on my own and was struggling with a little bit. But if I would have known Rob was out there, I could have asked Rob if I knew what he had done, because it sounds like he did this a long time ago. So what I'm doing is nothing new. I didn't think it was anything new. I just hadn't really seen anything out there. So, yes, the NSR C8, that's going to be big. I'll be curious to see the KTM X-Bow or Crossbow, however you pronounce it. That's an interesting car, and it would be interesting to see somebody like Sideways or NSR or one of them recreate that. That would be good. So Jason, you are having some problems with your, well, I mean, you can pick up a new CU pretty cheap. A lot of times if you catch somebody selling a digital set, you can pick them up real cheap. I hated fly cars at first, but once you figure out how to tune them, it can be fun cars. Yeah, you just don't expect them to be, they're not going to be NSR fast. They're not going to be Thunder Slot fast, but they are fun cars. My home track is 143rd. I race 132nd, no mag. So you have a local club that you race at, Gina? That's awesome. Yeah, 143rd is, if you don't have a lot of room, it's still getting laps in, right? So I would say that it's still practice on a track. But I would like to get a couple 143rd cars to try on my track. They look like they'd be a lot of fun. Let's see. Pat, if you're talking about fly cars, the $35 a piece is cheap right now. Fly cars are going for stupid money, especially like the older fly classics, like the 917s and the 908s, and you drop way too much money on them. Hey, Fred, no problem, man. Glad I'm here. I'm glad you guys are here too. Pat Ware. That's right. Ives, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, and Slot Car Daddy, I know it's tough. You hate to see people have issues like that, especially when something is that's tough. First enduro at Marty's, I'm in. I'll get something on the schedule. I need to add about 20 more feet to my track. It's kind of a short layout for an endurance race, I think, but I can send you a schematic. It's very simple. That's cool. Thanks, Rob. Appreciate you doing that. Phasers Raceway, give them a call. He'll ship also. Two Lancia Beta Monte Carlos and 2 more liveries. Oh, Dusty, you're in trouble. The Fruit of the Loom livery in the Beta Monte Carlo. One of my favorite fly cars right there. The Beta Monte Carlo in the Fruit of the Loom. That's funny to fingers. Chris, have a safe trip home. Endurance and bourbon don't mix. We don't drink and drive here, Steve. Looks like you're buying another car. You're buying another Carrera car, which I'm sure the detail in the Carrera car will be fantastic. I mean, the Fly is fantastic. And I think you can get that in a sideways too. That's the one you need to track down, Dusty. Yeah, all right. I had to get my timing fixed. So as soon as I have the relay in, I can control track power. Then I feel like I can host a race. Until then, I felt like I could not host a race because it's complicated. When you can't kill the power, you tell everybody, stop. And it's too easy just to squeeze the trigger a couple more times and coast a half a lap. So after this weekend, I will be able to host a race. Pat, you saw 3 or 4 Fly Fruit of the Loom cars today. Well, you can get the Fruit of the Loom in the Beta Monte Carlo, and you can get it in the BMW. I don't have one, but it ran in the BMW. I don't know what model BMW that is, but in that same class, the Group C or Group 5. Yeah. Yeah, I found one. It's just too much money. There you go. And slots are getting along. That's good. Hey, Don Young. Hello. His back is turned to you when you're racing. He thinks it's roast. That's right. When I retire, I'll be there. I plan to travel the country and race. Lee, that's awesome. Find lots of tracks. And there's a lot of great home tracks that people are very open to bring people in. But yeah, so do we need to do an endurance race? What would be a good first endurance race on this layout? We could do like a 3-hour endurance. Like a 15-minute. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. That'd be 12. So you could do teams of 3, and each person does 4 stints, right? Oh, now you got me playing it. Yes, I live an hour and a half away. Gina, you're an hour and a half from us? You're in Ohio? I guess I didn't realize you were that close. There we go. 3 hours is a sprint. I know, Jim. I participated in a 6-hour endurance race that was last month, and it didn't go so well. It seemed like a long race, and I broke a car. No racing around you. That stinks. Yeah, we've got to get to the closest club. We drive almost 2 hours, so has to be 20. Jim, has to be 24 hours. It's not an endurance race if it's not. Man, 24 hours might be a little too. Man, you'd be bored out of your mind on my layout. 24 hours. Leo, I am in Ohio. I'm in Chillicothe, Ohio. I'd rather look at what they have. There you go. 24-hour HO races are great. Done 3 of them. I haven't raced HO since I was a kid. I've gone down this 132nd rabbit hole. I don't think I can come out of it. I'm not sure I'm following. 26-ounce endurance race. Ohio. Yep, I'm in Ohio. HO and 124 are my favorites. I've got to go back to pick up a couple more for some of the fellas. Our race, a stack of them, and I'll do some pictures and message you then. There you go, Pat. Got to finish taking down the Christmas decorations. Good night, all. Slot Car Daddy, have a good night. I'm going to wrap it up. It's 9:37. Appreciate it. I live in Beaver, race in Pittsburgh. Wow, that's a long drive, Gina. Gina, you live in Beaver? That's not that far from Ohio. That's not that far from me. Yeah, you're 40 minutes from me. Jason, you did a 12-hour HO in April. See, I could see like a 6-hour, 12-hour, man, the 24. Whew. I guess if you're doing like 5, but it's still. Andrew Tate is my dad. All right. North Liberty, Indiana. Oh yeah, Lee, you're not too far. You're not too far. A couple hours, 3 hours. Yeah, I still Sean Casey and I talked about doing some type of meetup in 2024. So maybe we can make something like that happen. Try to put it very close. Bo, thanks for sharing the list, man. You had to type them all out, but I appreciate it. I think everybody enjoyed seeing what Carrera has. I'm sure Dave Kennedy will have a list if they release something. So, anyway, all right, guys, I am going to end tonight. It was great, guys. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I hope all is well. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you like what's happening here. Looks like there's still 78 on with 57 likes. So I appreciate it. That's a pretty good percentage. Guys, thanks. And just go out there and have some fun racing. Talk to you soon.